this response. Can I read you a few of them? I think they're worthy of reading. I know you read them, but to read them together, I think, is always more effective than to do it singly. Declaration. I love this whole section here of the book. I would have signed this book just for this section if I could. I think it's so much, so interesting, so revealing, so entertaining, so much fun, really. Resolved by the French deputies professing the religion of Moses. I love that. We're deputies, the French deputies professing the religion of Moses. This is a new religion, the religion of Moses. We don't even call it Judaism anymore. It's the religion of Moses. That the following declaration shall proceed. The assembly, impressed with a deep sense of gratitude, love, respect, admiration for the sacred person of imperial royal majesty, declares in the name of all Frenchmen professing the religion of Moses that they're fully determined to prove worthy of his favors. First World War, they gave a lot of proof of that, both in Germany and France. A lot of Iron Cross winners among Jews in Germany who got no honor for it whatsoever, and were treated miserably afterwards. His Majesty intends for them by scrupulously conforming. See, that's not like America. America did give honor to those people who, in spite of the situation, went forward with a commitment. Never, in fact, Reagan actually then tried to make good on that whole situation of the camps and so on. You see, that didn't happen in Germany after the First World War. His Majesty intends for them, by scrupulously conforming to his paternal intentions, that their religion makes it their duty to consider the laws of the prince as the supreme law in civil and political matters. There it is. Their religion makes it their duty to consider the law of the prince as the supreme law in civil and political matters. I don't know if you understand law, but you have civil law and you have personal law. And then there's also, political states law, foreign policy and stuff. Personal law is things like marriage, divorce, adoption of children, maintenance of women in the pregnancy situation, maintenance of women in a divorce situation, things of that kind. That's all personal status. We call that personal status. If you've done any law. I did a PhD thesis on Islamic law, so I know all about everything to do with law in terms of French civil code and land law and everything. I didn't know anything about it until I did my PhD, and then I probably could have gotten a law degree if I'd bothered trying. Anyway, their religion makes it their duty to consider the law of the prince as their supreme law in civil and political matters. That consequently, should their religious code or its various interpretations, whether strict or otherwise, contain civil or political commands at variance with those of the French civil code, these commands would of course cease to influence and govern them. That's their answer. Their answer is your question, what you were raising before. They say they will cease in that respect and govern them, since they must have, Mendelssohn said, now there's nothing that's going to conflict anyway, so don't worry about it. They must above all acknowledge and obey the laws of the prince, that in consequence of this principle the Jews have at all times considered it their duty to obey the laws of the state, and that since the revolution they, like all Frenchmen, have acknowledged no others. So they don't make any bones about it, do they? That's it, man. They've just thrown in the whole baby into the bathwater. Is it lawful for Jews to marry more than one wife? Let's see how they slip around this one. It is not lawful for Jews to marry more than one wife, and then they give you the whole history of when it became not lawful. And it is true, the description they give is very accurate, though Sephardi's have not really come to a final determination on that point. Since Rabbi Gershom in the 11th century in Worms, which was I think Worms is in the Germanic area next to France, he pronounced an anathema, a ban, on every Israelite who should take more than one wife. So since the 11th century, it's been forbidden. But I can tell you, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's already forbidden. It's already forbidden. And think Christianity gets it from the Dead Sea Scrolls. The ban on polygamy in Christianity, I think, comes right out of the Dead Sea Scrolls. To my mind, I may be wrong, but I think it's a big influence, and I can show you passages in the Dead Sea Scrolls where that is the case. I read this morning, some of my students this morning, who were in the class this morning. Yeah, I was wrong this morning when I said about the Eastern Jews had stopped, because I thought by custom they had stopped, but it hadn't been an official ban. But in the scrolls, you see, it's dead in the water. So they give the history here. It's a pretty good history here. How about divorce? Okay. Repudiation is allowed by the law of Moses, but it's not valid if not pronounced by the French Civil Code. In other words, okay, we don't consider it now. You know, that's a big deal in Israel. Repudiation. They don't call it a divorce. You know, it's you know how they do it in Judaism. I don't have time to explain all these things to you, but I'm going to break some. But you know how they do it?
Male only.
Huh?
The male only can do it.
Yes, the female can't do it, and it's called a what?
A bedin.
No, a get.
A get. There you go.
A get. They give the woman a get. I don't know if ghetto comes from that or what, but they give the woman a get. G-A-G-T. And I don't know what the word originally meant exactly, but it's a bill of divorcement. In Islam, it's similar. I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you 3 times. It's called a divorce talaq, final divorce. You're finished. You can't come back. You can't change his mind unless you go to bed with some other man. Then he can start the whole process over again. It's really wild stuff. It's in the Quran, Surah 2 in the Quran, and Surah 3. If you want to read it, it's wild stuff. What Muhammad makes of it. I'm not a great enthusiast for some of these traditions, but as you see when I laugh, I display that lack of enthusiasm. But I do find them entertaining. I find them very entertaining. So I do recommend the entertainment of reading the Quran. It's quite funny, but you would probably not enjoy having it imposed on you. You might find some constriction there that you might find worse. One area is in this divorce. So Judaism is like Islam, but Islam is more even extreme than Judaism on this score. There's no female divorce in Islam either. And they have a revocable divorce in Islam and an irrevocable divorce. The irrevocable divorce is, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. That means you've been divorced 3 times, it's irrevocable. The revocable divorce